Good afternoon, my young friends. We are learning historiography, Indian tradition. We are learning historiography, Indian tradition. We have studied about the colonial historiography, Orientalist historiography, nationalistic historiography, and we are learning about historiography in the post-independence era. Historiography, history rewriting in the post-independence era. Mainly, we have studied about these things, and when we think about the modern historiography, means history writing in the modern period, we knew that there are three main influential ideological schools. There are three main influential ideological schools in India. First one, Marxist historiography. Second, subaltern historiography. And third, feminist historiography. These are the main ideological streams, main ideological schools in the modern Indian historiography. We have studied about the Marxist history. We have studied about Marxist history in the last period, in the previous period. Now, in this period, we are going to think about the subaltern history and feminist history. Subaltern history, the term subaltern means the bottommost ranks or the lowest ranks in the society. Bottommost ranks or lowest ranks. The seeds of subaltern history are found in the Marxist historiography. The role of the Italian historian Antonio Gramsci is very important in developing the idea that history should be written starting from bottommost ranks of people in the society. Now try to understand that sentence properly. Who is going to read that sentence for others, for us? Who is going to read? Is it possible to read? History should be written starting from the bottommost ranks of people in the society. That was the opinion of Antonio Gramsci. Antonio Gramsci was Italian historian. His lifespan was 1891 to 1937. 1891 to 1937 is the lifespan of Antonio Gramsci, Italian historian. He is well known in the subaltern historiography. He is well known as the subaltern history writer. His famous sentence or his opinion is that his idea is that history should be written starting from the bottommost ranks of people in the society. When we write history, at first we have to concentrate on the lowest ranks of people and their life. Folklore has been considered as a very important source of writing subaltern histories. For writing subaltern history, what is important? Folklore. Now, what is the meaning of folklore? Folklore means, write down, it is important. Note down, folklore, traditional stories and beliefs. Traditional stories and beliefs means folklore. In other words, legends, mythology. In mythology, we dealt with very old stories, that is folklore. Okay, folk means Folk, folk. L is silent there. Folk means people. Folk means people. Folklore has been considered as a very important source of writing subaltern histories. Subaltern, when historians, Abhishek Patil, sit properly, when historians study, when subaltern historians study, they gave more importance to folklore. They give more importance to mythology, legendary, etc. Ranjit Guha, an Indian historian, played a major role in establishing subaltern history as an important academic school of historiography. However, we may point out that much before the onset of subaltern ideology, similar thoughts were expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. We are thinking about Indian historiography, our Indian tradition. Ranjit Guha, an Indian historian, played a major role in establishing subaltern history as an important academic school of historiography. However, we may point out that much before the beginning of subaltern ideals or subaltern doctrine, similar thoughts were expressed. Similar thoughts, just like subaltern history, were expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Mahatma Phule unfolded the history of the Shudrati Shudra communities in his book Gulamgiri. Listen now, try to understand. Gulamgiri is the name of the book which was written by Mahatma Phule. Who wrote the book Gulamgiri? Mahatma Phule. Now, in that book, Gulamgiri, he opened out the history of the Shudrati Shudra communities. For understanding Shudrati Shudra word, we have to know about the Varna system in Hinduism. Now, is it possible to tell anyone from you how many Varnas were there in Hinduism? Urgved, is it possible to tell? You have studied in, yes, tell me. Yes, very nice. There were four Varnas in Hinduism: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and another fifth, Shudrati Shudra. Now, these were the classes. These were the classes, social classes in the Indian society. In the Indian society, Abhishek Patil, sit properly. I am telling you second time. Abhishek, sit properly, otherwise left. In Hinduism, there were four Varnas: Brahmins. In that Varna, in that class of the society, priests, scholars, and teachers were included. In Kshatriya, the second Varna of Hinduism, There were rulers, warriors, and administrators. Third, Vaishyas. In Vaishyas or in Vaishya Varna, there agriculturists and merchants included. And Shudras, the fourth Varna, laborers and service providers were included in that. In in the Varna Shudras, there were laborers and service providers were included. And along these four, there was another Varna, another class in the society, and that class was called as Ati Shudras. Ati Shudras, lowest class, bottommost rank in the Indian society in the past, not now. Ati Shudras was the lowest class, bottommost class in Indian society. In that lowest class, untouchables were there. Sweepers, garbage collectors were included in Atishudras. Do you understand? The Varna system in Hinduism, in the history or in the past time. Now, Mahatma Phule opened out, unfold the history of the Shudrati Shudra communities in his book Gulamgiri. In the book Gulamgiri, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule opened out, unfolded the history of the Shudrati Shudra communities. Shudrati Shudra communities means bottommost ranks in the Indian society. Do you understand? Rugved, do you understand? Below the Shudras. Avarna. They were called Avarna. Okay. They were called Avarna. Now listen. Mahatma Phule unfolded the history of Shudrati Shudra communities in his book Gulamgiri. What is the name of the book? Gulamgiri. Who wrote it? Who is the author? Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. What did he describe there in that book? He unfolded the history of the Shudrati Shudra communities. He drew attention to the exploitation of women, Shudras, and Ati Shudras done under the name of religion. Listen here. In the name of religion, there was exploitation, there was ill treatment given to the lower caste people or lower class people, just like Shudras, Ati Shudras, as well as the ill treatment was given to women. Means in the society, women, Shudras, Ati Shudras were exploited by the upper classes, by the men, in the name of religion. That was important. With the help of religion, these bottommost classes were exploited in India in the past. Now, after getting independence, it has been changed. Exploitation of women, exploitation of Shudras, Ati Shudras, Dalits, untouchables has been strictly prohibited with the help of our constitution. And if someone makes any mistake, or someone follows the old evil traditions of exploiting women, Shudra, Ati Shudras, he may get punishment. The terms Shudra and Ati Shudra indicates the bottommost ranks in the caste system. We all knew that in India there is a caste system. There is also caste system is also prevailing at present. We Indian people consider caste system better, and it's very bad. Okay, we have to criticize to the caste system. Okay, and Shudra and Ati Shudra were at the bottom of the society. Means those people were bottommost ranks people. The role of the people belonging to Dalit castes is very significant in the shaping of various cultural and political aspects of India. Those people who were at the bottommost ranks were uh, called as Dalits also. Okay, the role of the people belonging to Dalit castes is very important in the shaping of various cultural and political aspects of India. However, their role was not duly acknowledged in the colonial and nationalistic historiography. In the history writing of nationalistic historians as well as colonial historians, importance had not been given to these bottommost people, to these Dalits. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, focusing on this fact, constantly wrote about it. Two of his books, Who Were the Shudras and The Untouchables, may be cited as examples of history of subaltern type. We all knew that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was the great leader of India. He was not only the leader of Dalits, but also he was the leader of all downtrodden people, all bottommost classes in the society. And he focused that the nationalistic historiographer, the nationalistic historians, as well as the colonial historians had not given importance to the life work, to the life of lowest people of it. Who is there? Who is disturbing? Please don't disturb. Please off your mics. Off your mics. Please off your mics. If you don't want to listen, if you don't want to listen, call me. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to teach you separately. It's the now this these these two lessons are based on philosophy. If you don't understand the philosophy, you are unable to understand the subject matter. For that purpose, you have to listen carefully. Okay. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar focused on the fact that nationalistic historiography as well as in colonial historiography, the role of Dalits, the role of lowest class of our nation has been neglected, and to give importance, to unfold the importance of lowest class, to unfold the importance of Shudras, Ati Shudras, Dalits, he wrote two famous books. Dr. Ambedkar had written so many books. From those books, two books are important. Who Were the Shudras? And second one, The untouchables. And these are the examples of history of subaltern time. Now we have to think about feminist historiography or feminist history. Now, feminist feminist historiography means history writing or history rewriting in the perspective of women. Listen carefully. Okay, history writing or history rewriting in the perspective of women is called as feminist history or womanism. It is also called as womanism. Over a significant period of time, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. When we say the tradition of Indian history writing or Indian historiography, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. As a result, the role and achievements of women in history remained neglected. Just like Dalits, Shudras, Ati Shudras, the role, the attainments, the achievements of women was neglected because who were the history writers? Male. And another important thing you have to understand that our Indian society, Indian society was male dominated society in the past, at present also. Okay, male dominated society, patriarchal society. And in patriarchal society, in the male dominated society, males have been given more importance and female women have not given importance. The work of women was neglected. In this way, to focus the work of women in the history, feminist historiography is emerged. Over a long period of time, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. Now, try to understand that sentence. Only male scholars were there. What was the reason? Because in India, women had no permission to learn in the medieval period. Mainly in the medieval period, in India, women had no permission to take education, and because of that, they were neglected in history writing. To highlight this fact was a major task faced by the feminist historians. Also, it was important to study and compile the historical writings of women. It was also necessary to rethink of women's position in history. It is important to rethink. Naram, sit properly. It is important to rethink of women's situation, women's standard in history. Among women authors, among women authors writing about women in the 19th century, in the 19th century CE, Tarabai Shinde was the foremost one. When we think about Indian feminist historiography, now here we are thinking about Indian feminist historiography, means uh, historiography, history writing related to women, focused to women in India. Among women authors writing about women in the 19th century CE, Tarabai Shinde was the foremost one Tarabai Shinde was the leading one. She wrote attacking the male dominated social system. I have told you that no, just now, few minutes ago. Indian society was male dominated society. Means, in other words, Indian society was patriarchal society. Tarabai Shinde criticized that male dominated social system, male dominated society, or male dominated family system. Also, in our family also, our Indian families are male dominated families. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. Our Indian family system is also male dominated family system. Nowadays, the situation is changing. Okay. Tarabai Shinde wrote a famous book, Stri Purush Tulana, in Marathi. Stri Purush Tulana is the name of the book written by Tarabai Shinde, and she published it in 1882. In 1882, which book was published? Hadiye. In 1882, which book was published? Stri Purush. Stri Purush Tulna. Who was the writer? Who was the author? Tarabai Shinde. Tarabai, Tarabai Shinde was the author, and the name of the book is Stri Purush Tulna. Her book, Stri Purush Tulna, published in 1882, is acknowledged as the first feminist book in India. Underline there, the first feminist book in India. What is the name of that book? Stri Purush Tulana. When it published? In 1882. In, in 1882. Tarabai Shinde published Stri Purush Tulna in 1882, and this book, Stri Purush Tulna, is appreciated as the first feminist book in India. It is accepted as the first feminist book in India. Means what? The first book in India which has been written in the perspective, in the attitude of woman. Do you understand? Advait, Stri Purush Tulna, Stri Purush Tulna, written by Tarabai Shinde, is considered, is appreciated as the first feminist book in India, and it was published in 1882. In 1888, the book written by Pandita Ramabai was published, entitled The High Caste Hindu Woman. Now, there is another notable book in the perspective of women, and its name is The High Caste Hindu Woman. We all know that Brahmin caste was considered as the high caste in our country in old days, in the history, and Pandita Ramabai wrote about the sorrows, about the griefs, about the bad experiences of high caste Hindu woman, and the name, the high caste Hindu woman. That was the name of that book, and it was published in 1888. The feminist literature of the post independence era concentrated on the issues like employment of women, treatment meted out to them at their workplace, their right to political equality, etc. In these feminist writings, in these books, what has been described, what has been concentrated, what has been focused? Employment of women, treatment meted out to them at their workplace, their right to political equality, etc. Among the recently published feminist literature, Meera Kosambi's book Crossing Thresholds Feminist Essays in Social History is of importance. When we think about recent time, another notable book has been noted down there, Crossing Thresholds Feminist Essays in Social History. And this book was written by Meera Kosambi. It is important to learn about the recently situation of women in India. It contains essays on the life stories of women like Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukmabai, the first practicing lady doctor of India. In that book, there are different essays. In those essays, there are essays on Pandita Ramabai. Now, Pandita Ramabai wrote the book The High Caste Hindu Woman. We know it. And the essays are there in the book Crossing Thresholds Feminist Essays in Social History by Meera Kosambi about Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukmabai. Rukmabai was the first practicing lady doctor of India. Underline there also, that is important. Advait, sit properly. Advait Bhosle, please sit properly. Dr. Rukmabai was the first practicing lady doctor of India. It is important for objective questions. A lot of literature is available unfolding the viewpoint of Dalit women in Maharashtra. Dr. Sharmila Rege's work is noteworthy in the context. Her book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women's Testimonies. It is also another book. I am going to read the name of book, only listen carefully. Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women's Testimonies. Testimonies means statements, arguments, experiences, etc. etc. Which was written by Dr. Sharmila Rege. And it includes her essays on the autobiographies of Dalit women. This book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women's Testimonies, includes essays on the autobiographies of Dalit women. The life of Dalit women has been studied with the help of different autobiographies of Dalit women in the book Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women's Testimonies. I think we have completed two things, two main streams in Indian, modern Indian history writing. In the previous period, we have studied about Marxist history. In this period, we have studied about subaltern history and feminist history. Okay, I'm going to send some questions for you. You have to write the questions. There are questions on page number 13 and 14. There are questions in the textbook, page number 13 and 14. You all have to solve those questions. Now, in the next period, we are going to complete this lesson. I tell you all, you have to solve all these questions and answers on page number 13 and 14 in the exercise, and send me on my WhatsApp account. Very few students are sending their studies. Please study at home. If you don't read, if you don't study at home, it is difficult to face the board exam. I am telling you again, if you don't study seriously, if you don't read at home now, it is difficult to face the board exams. And I know that you are clever students, you have to study hard at home. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.